Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eric Langkamp, also known as Tricky Hunter. So, I've spent the last couple of days fixing a bunch of stuff and getting things ready for this pre-alpha. There's a bunch of things that are going to be missing still when we go to pre-alpha, but they're not exactly necessary to start the testing that I want to get done. So, out of the things that'll be missing will be selling mechs, selling vehicles. You won't see ammo listed in your inventory, and you won't be able to sell ammo. That will come in the next test iteration, and I don't think I'll do any resets of the database unless I absolutely have to, so it just should seamlessly roll in as a patch for those in the pre-alpha test. Um, so a lot of what we've got going on here, and let me flip over to my other screen. Um, Come on, there we go. Um, not tricky hunger. There we go. I am hungry though. Maybe that was a slip of the tongue. Um, so you've seen these loading screens here with the list of available stuff. One of the things you'll see here is that um, we actually have mining facilities now. The interesting part is you can tell that the grass is better textured on these than what this pale green is. That is kind of a glimpse as to what we're moving towards for the look of the game, but it's probably not going to be what sticks. It's going to slowly improve over time, especially if we get where we want to go. Um, but one of the cool things is you'll see over in the corner, you've got a map tile details panel, which will tell you the type, the owner. So if I click here, you'll see that the owner is Test Empire, which is the Tricky Hunter Empire. It doesn't have a tile name, but if I clicked on the city, you will see Test Capital, the population, if the tile has anybody technically living in it, and whether there's a resource. And it says none for these. If you own the tile, it will tell you what resource is present in the tile. However, if you don't own the tile, it'll only tell you if that a resource is present. So you have to, at this point, you have to own the tile to know what's in it. Um, let's go and take a look for one of the enemy empires. So there you go. Yeah, I forgot I named it. Named that tile. So that gives you an idea of what we've got going on there. Let me find Elysius here. Elysius, where are you? I know you're somewhere in here. You'll also see the X and Y position um, of the environment. Let me flip to. Let me minimize this. I know the map is positioned just about right. There we go. Okay. Over here. There we go. There's Elysius for the time being. You've seen the hover over, but if you click on it, it'll keep the panel. I know some of you have asked for bookmarked positions that you can do quick positioning. These will have to suffice for the time being for being able to write down a coordinate. But map center is right there. So that Elysius is right near map center. Um, but if you want to find your own capital, you just click this button. This is the city tile, the city details panel. Let me maximize this. Um, that will give you the details of the specific tile that you own that has a city in it and all of the stuff. I haven't gotten to that yet. It's not exactly necessary for the current test. Inventory has been broken down here, so if we go into gold leaf, it'll give you a range of what the quality is, and it'll give you quantity, and eventually I'll have descriptions in. But when you click view, it'll take you to the viewer where you can make selections for sales of a given item. So let's make sure we have something selling here. So let's sell a gold bar for 10,000 Imperial because I'm a money grubbing type of person. And that's one thing that I need to fix, but again, it isn't absolutely necessary. When you click that, it needs to update all of these panels, and that'll have to come in a later patch because I want to get this test out sooner rather than later. So you won't see your own stuff. Oh, you'll see it on this panel if yours is the only one listed, but it'll list as quantity 0. You can't buy your own stuff. Wouldn't make any sense. But if you want to see your stuff that's listed, you can see it here, and you can cancel the item, or you can change the uh, the cost of the item. All you have to do is commit that, and then when you go back to your items, it'll stay changed. If you cancel the sale, it will return that item to your inventory, and then your gold bar is back there, so on and so forth. So that's the gist of what was just fixed there. Um, I have tested the capability of buying across empires. I've tested buying from Comstar. So that's all functional to the best of my knowledge. But until we load test it, we won't know for sure. Um, so let's go back to this. So you guys who have been watching and keeping track, you'll know that this blue marker indicates that we have a vehicle or mech there, some sort of forces, and then I can select what's going on. So one of the problems I was having was these path indicators were deleting themselves if you went over top of them, and they weren't continuing based on a given position. I did fix that, so now you can move through your own tiles. You can create a path with as many waypoints as you want. Again, if you right click, it'll commit to the last waypoint you selected. But now you can't commit a position or a track that moves through invalid tiles. So you can't move through mountains, you can't move over water. Let me find the enemy tile here. Oh, it looks like I have a bit of a glitch there. It's keeping those as red, but it'll keep me committing. So you can't move into or through enemy spaces at this point. Um, we're going to toy around with the idea that you can't commit a stopping waypoint. You can't stop your forces in an enemy tile for the time being until we come up with uh, possible ways of signing treaties between empires to allow a commute between empires or through an empire. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of what we got going on there. Um, it looks like that might partially clear at times, but there's minor glitches that will come about. But you'll notice that it's not it's not clearing out those dots. So if I commit that, then my Jeep here will take a really odd track all the way around, and it'll take a while to do so. Um, so the last thing that I am working on coming up here is this. So this spreadsheet that I've got going on here is the layout that I have for ingredients of buildings and the required research for said buildings. The ingredients are items. Items require production buildings, which loops back in, and then you have research. The research requires specific buildings, and then, of course, resources. So between tonight and tomorrow, I'm going to be filling out this sheet with the help of my team to some degree to organize my thoughts and make sure that everything has the necessary research and everything has some sort of semblance of order for the development trees and things like that. But you'll notice if you look here, uh, each of these items has sub items that make them up, and they go back and back and back. So say you need a rock crusher, so the research for that is going to, or the production building for that is going to be heavy industrial equipment factory. Um, you need roller wheels, you need steel sheet, you need aluminum sheet, you need an industrial electric motor, and you need an industrial diesel engine. Um, this, say, roller wheel. Let's find roller wheels on here. So, roller wheels require plastic tubing and steel sheet. Plastic tubing then requires, let me see if I can find it. Plastic. Plastic tubing requires, you guessed it, plastic. And then plastic itself, where is plastic itself? Plastic itself requires oil, which is your crude oil for production. So it's a whole series of items. So if you want to be an empire that produces the cheapest or highest quality plastic tubing, then you either need to find a source of oil and build the infrastructure to be able to produce it on the cheap, and then produce the plastic tubing, or you need to find a supplier of plastic. And the person who supplies plastic either needs to have oil themselves or ship in oil from another empire. So the entire economy is going to be based around either producing the goods on the cheap as best you can from having the resources at your disposal or shipping them in. That's up to you guys, and it's going to evolve as we go forward. Research is where I'm at right now for laying this out. This is the major piece that I need to put into place. So, a research building here, each of these research buildings needs raw materials, and they will also have some sort of required research for producing the building itself. You guys have seen part of. Come on, pull that up for me. You guys have seen this part where you have a specific type of research and a building is required for that particular research. Um, so, yeah, that gives you some sort of concept of how we're going forward with this. Um, like I said, I'm going to be plotting out all of the research buildings and items for what you saw on there here between tonight and tomorrow. And fingers crossed that as long as everything goes in properly and the initial tests pan out, then tomorrow night or Sunday for pre-alpha for you guys to start breaking stuff and yelling at me. So anyone who's interested in being a part of the initial pre-alpha tests, I if you're a Patreon supporter, all you have to do is ask, and we can get you the passcode that's going to be necessary on Steam in order to do that. Um, but past that, if you're not a Patreon supporter, and again, that's if you have been a Patreon supporter ever. If you stopped supporting on Patreon, you still received a Steam key, and you can still be a part of this pre-alpha. You only have to support once to get a Steam key and to get access. But if you've never supported, all you have to do is you can do the minimum level for Steam support, and you'll get a key, and then let us know that you want to be a part of the pre-alpha test. And as soon as we launch that, I will be putting up instructions both on Patreon, Discord, and Facebook for activating the pre-alpha test version, because I'm not releasing this to the general group, because anyone who is a part of the pre-alpha testing needs to understand that progress, although we are going to save as much as we can, including the research points that you've accumulated, um, much of it will likely be overwritten multiple times. So don't expect to keep the empire that you're building. But any progress you make, the farther you make it, and the more glitches you uncover, the more stable the finished product will be, and the faster we're going to be able to get this done. We also have a series of people tracking bugs and requested features for us. So if you're on Discord and you come across something that needs to be added or needs to be fixed, please let them know. They are listed as Feature request curators. So, uh, if you find a feature request curator, just go on to feature discussion, tag one of them, and let them know, hey, things are crapping out on me. They will try their best to track it and alert me when that comes about, because as I'm moving forward, I'm going to be trying to add in the features needed for presentation to specific interested parties. So, big things happening. We are very close, and I'm talking, moments here. So, feel free to catch me on Discord, otherwise, or Facebook. Otherwise, I will keep you guys posted. You guys have a good weekend, and I will catch you on Averon.